moderator को ideally हाँ खबर છે મને हाँ नीरज check. All right, very good afternoon and welcome once again, everybody. All the designers, architects, visionaries, dreamers that have joined us over here after the lunch break. Thank you so much once again. I welcome you all to HBLF 2024. It's truly an honor and privilege to see you all over here over the weekend and our next panel discussion, which is about to begin now. And we have our panelist and our moderator over here. So, let's not waste too much of time. We have paucity of the time. And I'm going to begin by inviting our moderator for the session over here. He is the visionary force behind I2 Designs and I2Graph, a TEDx speaker, an Oscar panel art director, and he's the recipient of a state award for the Gujarati movie Bayar, an alumnus of IIM Kolkata and MIT, and he has been also spearheading this entire thing for which we all have gathered here. The one man, if you can see him running here and there in every corner and still manages to be here as a moderator, and that's none other than the guy whom we all love. Let's welcome with your applause, Niraj Shah over here. And he's also someone, louder. And he's also somebody who can never ever stop learning, no matter what. It's salt and pepper right now. It might just be all white eventually. And that's why he's also pursuing a PhD in creativity, which he doesn't need, I believe, right? But yes, always a learner, and welcome. And since you are here, I think no one else needs to be worried about anything anymore now. But yeah, that's the man, and he's the moderator. Have a seat. And we're going to start by inviting our panelists, one after the other, quickly over here. We get ready to be inspired. We have architect Rahul Dalvi with us over here, the creative force behind Dalvi Associates, a visionary designer. His work has been celebrated in national publications, and he reflects a profound understanding of spaces that he touches. Let's welcome him with your applause. And he's also a national level cricket player. So it's not just the architecture that he loves, but he's also a sports lover as well. Joining them next, we have our next visionary entrepreneur. We have with us Girdhar Patel, the man driving force behind Atcraft Innovations. His unwavering commitment to originality and perfection has propelled Atcraft to unparalleled success in the hardware industry. Let's give a warm welcome to him, and let's welcome him on stage over here. Joining the panel, Over here we have the dynamic managing director of Shivalik Group, a powerhouse in Gujarat's real estate and construction sector. He needs no introduction. Mr. Taral Shah is over here with us with a stellar record of over 10 million square feet in 70 plus projects. He has been, changing the graph of not just Ahmedabad and Gujarat, but the entire country. As we march ahead, we have with us Miss Chandni as well, the lovely lady in the pink sari. Yes, that's what I was just looking for you. Hi, all right. The brains and the founder behind Studio Abhinay. They are also celebrating their silver jubilee, 25 years of being existent. I believe her mother started it, right? And after generation, they're taking a multidisciplinary design studio. They're into visual communications, and they also do temporary spaces and interiors. And now, as we can see, Niraj is also inviting somebody else on the stage. So we have our another panelist over here, the founder and principal designer of Daftar, the Ahmedabad-based furniture design studio. We have with us Pranav over here. He studied from BITS Pilani and eventually design course from Netherlands. And he has his, come on, join us on the stage over here with a huge round of applause. Let's have Pranav over here. He is immensely passionate for craftsmanship and meticulous attention he has towards the process, towards the details, and towards the materials. And that's how he has brainchild Daftar. So that's the panel we have over here, one of the most powerful panel discussion, and over to you, Niraj.
Thank you, Lippy, thank you so much. I can see a lot of crowd coming in. Please get seated. Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists. I'm going to thank you again at the end of it. Thank you, the wild card entries, especially Chandni and Pranav. Unfortunately, Khozema and Tanvi could not make it, but that does not take the credit away from somebody who agreed to come for this particular panel, and great credit to the ones who came in just on a phone call again from this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. So what are we trying to do here? We have a furniture manufacturer, we have an architect, we have a hardware manufacturer, we have a real estate developer who is also into furniture manufacturing and represents furniture brands, and we have an interior designer who also designs products and events. The idea of this mix is for us to understand how this industry is going, how the industry is growing and where it is going, right? So, as I always do, I need to shuffle. So, Mr. Taral, please come in here. You need to go there. You need to move to that chair. You need to move here. Yeah. And you need to move here. Rahul, you need to come here. So, a lot of you were here in the morning for a neuro-linguistic programming. That's what I just did. I reprogrammed their minds. They don't know why I did it. You guys don't know why I did it. Even I don't know why I did it. Okay, but I'm going to start with the first question to Rahul. So Rahul, as an architect, and I've seen your practice, it's rooted in timelessness. It's rooted in modernism. But it's extremely detailed. What comes first? The space or the detail?
I think the client. So always
Please elaborate.
It is always the client, but it begins with a concept and ends in a detail. It's never a detail first, it's a concept first.
Okay. So during the concept process, do you think it gets detailed and over detailed?
Yeah, so the maturity happens with restricting yourself to further detailing, because there is always a psychedelic curve, and with maturity you tend to know where to stop.
Okay.
I think the most important thing is where to stop, not where to go.
Okay. And this where you stop is because you want to stop. Correct? Okay. Right? Because there are no other circumstances that make you stop.
No, I think so. At our age, the clients don't know where we should stop. So we have to take a call.
So that's the experience, right? So you face the same thing, Chandni. So when do you stop detailing and over detailing?
I think it comes a lot. Am I audible?
It's on, it's, all these microphones are like tube lights. They take some time.
Okay. So I think a lot has to do with the timelines. That's where we stop. Otherwise, as young designers, you don't want to stop. You just want to keep going on and refine and refine.
So louder.
As young designers, I don't think we want to stop. We want to go on and design. But then comes a timeline and the cost aspect of it, and that's where the detailing kind of needs to be stopped. And then you go back to the project and still think that ye kar sakte the, but still you try to give your best, right?
No, so, you know, ये सवाल सबके लिए, right? All lot of designers here. एक तो ये है कि we want to stop because that maturity tells us. But you are saying कि हमें आगे और जाना है, आगे बढ़ना है. तो क्यों मतलब क्यों stop करते हैं? क्यों stop करते हैं?
करना पड़ता है.
करना पड़ता है. Okay, what does that mean? Do you achieve what you are trying to achieve even after करना पड़ता है?
No, I think we achieve a bit,
Okay.
and then then you can still keep on refining it, but then you know that this is good for this project.
Okay, so that means there is a problem in terms of, okay. Do you stop because you can't make it?
Definitely.
Definitely.
All the time.
All the time,
Definitely.
right? So this is another issue. We start detailing, sometimes we stop detailing because we can't make it. Or we stop thinking in that direction because we say, yaar, ye banega kaise? Ya hame pata hai ban jayega. We saw it at HBLF, Manish Gulati ne dikhaya tha, you know, Open Ideas ne dikhaya tha. तो ये बन सकता है. लेकिन हमारे पास वो resources, right?
Yeah.
Now this is about complex designs or detail. I'll ask Taral. He comes in from different experiences.
You're talking about detail versus space, right?
Yes.
So it depends on the city, in fact.
Oh,
If you are in Mumbai, you don't have space, right? So it should be more design centric. But you are blessed to be in city like Ahmedabad. Then there is no lack of space. So you can always play with good space in Ahmedabad. And if you are in maybe New York, London, or Mumbai, they don't have space. So the architects and the interior designers do a lot of detailing, and you can see the different kind of detailing, and in a very small space, how they accommodate very minute details. If you are in Ahmedabad, and if you have seen the large space, so the detailing, yeah, it is reasonable, but the placement of the artifact furniture, that makes a huge difference.
so very nice. I'm so glad. He's trying to also help us define this whole idea of detailing, right? Now there are different types of detailing. There is some detailing of when materials come together. There is some detailing that she was talking about where you're trying to manufacture or make something new. He's talking about detailing in terms of efficiency of space. Correct? So there's this partial efficiency, and he very nicely told all the architects and designers who are from Ahmedabad that you guys are not doing a great job. The Bombay and the Bangalore guys are doing better. No, what he said was they were reasonable. So they were reasonable, right? There's reasonable detailing happening because there is no space constraint. Whatever detail is happening because of an artistic nature. हमें ये करना है, you know, as an architect designer, अरे यार ऐसा कुछ करते हैं, आओ कहीं करिए, मस्त मजा उसे, आओ जोयो तू, तो आओ कहीं करिए. Where he's talking about efficiency. Now I want to give you that same question. Is that the reason why? What is the reason why you thought of Lofi? Why did Lofi start? What are we doing about the lights, sir? Sir, lights. Are we being able to reduce this? बॉस ये खत्म हो जाएगा. I want the lights down. Sorry.
Niraj, you are the witness of the Lofi. So as you know, I am wearing a lot of caps and hats. of the different vertical of business. But we launched Lofi in 2021, immediate after COVID. And starting that venture was, we wanted to enter into furnishing and interior business, because when you go to abroad, in Middle East or Europe, you almost see the houses are 80% furnished. You just have to come with the loose furniture. But here, that is not the trend. So personally, I feel in next couple of years or maximum 5 years, people would ask for furnished houses.
Okay.
The way what we are seeing in Middle East, even in Bangalore, a lot of developers are providing that services. And nobody was in Ahmedabad or Gujarat used to think of giving the service to their own customer. Because what we felt, whenever we deliver the home, customer used to find the interior designer, they used to find the local carpenter, they used to always get confused. And then we thought, why not to create a business where we can give the generic detail, not the extraordinary, and it's for the mass, it's not for the class, in fact, because class can afford anything. So the Lofi was started because we wanted to provide a furnished home. So that was the reason.
So as you understand that Shivalik as a group has ventured into Lofi furniture. Now that's not a furniture store. Lofi is a complete solution, a turnkey solution which gives you a furnished home. And it is not only for the people who buy their homes. It's actually for even for designers to use that service, or for consumers to directly come to Lofi and get their entire house done. They have in-house designers. Why am I saying this?
Yeah, actually we are the executor, so we are not designers. So a lot of projects we have in our group. So some other designers doing interior design, and we execute the project. So why we started this? Because there are no organized players in this business.
So very important, and a lot of other companies are getting into this. Asian Paints is coming into this big way. Now what does this mean? This means that there is an opportunity. Wherever there is a problem and you are able to give a solution, means there is an opportunity and a business opportunity. We are here at HBLF, at this show, where there is so much of business happening. We need these inputs for this reason. They know that this is required. To help us with that, भाई sound में क्या problem है? Sound में क्या problem? क्यों ऐसा आता जाता है? You were facing that also? No? Right. Okay. So sorry. So I'm going to ask you, Pranav. So Pranav is a furniture manufacturer. So tell me, where do you start? Do you start with the demand of a furniture piece, or do you start with R&D and design?
So for us, we made the mistake of starting with the design first and not the demand. But I think now we're trying to find a balance. But there has to be a demand first to be able to solve that or to address that.
Okay. So in order to meet a demand, do you think the demand has to be the low-hanging fruit, or it has to be the difficult one? And why?
Could you define it further?
Correct. So if you are going to be supplying to a demand, which means there is already a problem existing, and you don't want to give it a solution, that means there is already a solution existing. Do you want to solve a big problem or a small problem?
I'm not sure I'm very clear with the question, but
Sure,
I'll
help you.
Yeah. So I think a demand is what can be first defined as a demand. So say if there is a demand for modular furniture. So there is that demand, and you could call it a low-hanging or a high-hanging fruit. But so if there is demand for furniture, now that has to be defined into various rungs, whether it is what sort of demand that is. And then I think first defining the problem and then addressing it would be
make
the
sense.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I really meant is that people come to you with a design and say, boss, ye bana ke do. Are you excited to do that? And say, boss, isko 3,000 piece banane ka hai. You know, 200 beds. It's a hotel project. You've got your chairs, you've got your beds, you've got your table. Would you want to do that, or you would want to do niche products which you get famous for?
I think if you ask me personally, I'd be excited about both because those are two good problems for me to sort of understand. So I would take either as a challenge. And so if it's a simple product, the challenge would be to manufacture it at scale. So me being an engineer and a problem solver, I would like think of both of those as like good problems to solve.
So I'm sure that he's looking at us as an engineer. My questions would have made a lot of sense to his partner who is a management graduate, right? So this is a very much a management operational question, right?
But if you ask me at this point, I think the more niche thing would be our thing.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Now that's only a 4-year-old firm, only 4 years. They're doing some beautiful stuff. But this is another, and I won't say an issue or a problem. Anybody who has an industry, there is a growth period. And our industry je છે એ આટલી જ in general, not you, આ industry પણ confused છે. R&D કરવું, નવું કંઈક બનાવવું, to do something crazy which gets featured, which gets attracted, which attracts other architects and designers, or you want to just supply so that तुम्हारा factory में जो machine है, जो labor है, उसको कैसे चलाओगे आप? Correct? In order to address that, you need that low-hanging fruit. यार एक काम करते हैं, वो 1000 पीस का ऑर्डर है, पहले उसको सॉर्ट करते हैं, 2-4 जो है वो 3 महीने बाद लॉन्च करते हैं. So you get a balance of both, right? And I told him I do consulting for this, which I will consult him later. Okay? So now with your thing, so we were talking to you. So Girdhar bhai, they are into this business since a very long time, almost about 60 years.
1994.
Okay. So about 20 years or so, right? Yeah. He is at a different cycle. He's come from supplying what was required in the market to now doing R&D. Girdhar bhai, તમે જે R&D કરો છો, એનું થોડું કહેશો કે કેમ R&D કરો છો અને કેમ નવા પ્રોડક્ટ બનાવો છો?
R&D નું એવું કામ છે, हिंदी चलावे.
या.
R&D में ऐसा काम है कि जैसे कि बहुत सारे डोर्स बन रहे हैं जो हमारे प्रोडक्ट से डोर पे, विंडो पे, मेन डोर पे लग रहे हैं. तो हम लोगों को वो सोच देखनी है कि आज के आईडी इंटीरियर डिजाइनर आर्किटेक्ट्स किस तरह की डिजाइन वाले डोर्स बना रहे हैं, किस टाइप का घर बन रहा है. उसके आधार पे जैसे कुछ लाइन वर्क हो गया, कुछ शेप्स हो गए, कुछ फिनिशेस डिफरेंट स्ट्रक्चर वगैरह, तो हमें उस तरह की प्रोडक्ट बनाने के लिए अपनी सोच को देखना चाहिए. कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री के लिए मैं पर्टिकुलर बोल रहा हूँ कि आप लोग जो चीज़ देखते हो ना, उस चीज़ को हमें बैकएंड में देखना है. अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट हमारी R&D ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि 8 फीट बाई 4 फीट के डोर पे एक 5 इंच या 10 इंच की चीज़ कैसे सुंदर लगे. जैसे कुछ लाइन बनाए, कुछ शेप्स बनाए, कुछ भी है. तो R&D हमारी जो है वो आप लोगों पे आधारित रहती है. यस, एनीथिंग.
सो ये है मैन्युफैक्चरर जो कस्टमाइज काम भी करना चाहते हैं, जबकि उनकी फैक्ट्री सेट है, 6 फैक्ट्रीज हैं, लेकिन कस्टम काम भी करेंगे और उसके हिसाब से बनाएंगे. आज हम HBLF, हसमुख भाई, HBLF के प्लेटफॉर्म पे जैसे हम गुजरात, जैसे क्या दूसरा ले लो. वापस दो, चार्जिंग करना है. चेक. या सॉरी. ओके.
HBLF के प्लेटफॉर्म पे
सो जैसे वाइब्रेंट गुजरात में MOU साइन होते हैं, आज HBLF पे हम MOU साइन करेंगे. ओके, पेपर और पेन लाई जाए और हम ऐसा करेंगे कि चांदनी और राहुल दलवी आपके लिए डिजाइन करेंगे सो दैट आप वैसे प्रोडक्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चर करें. हम इसका प्रॉपर वर्कशॉप करें. यू कैन गेट एनीबडी एल्स ऑन योर टीम. व्हाई वी वांट टू डू दिस इज दैट यहाँ पे टॉक हो जाता है, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं होता. तो इसको हम अमल में लाएं.
थैंक यू.
Right?
डेफिनेटली वेलकम.
And finally we will see whether it can be put into 1000 houses. Correct? If it is correct, because it will be correct. It will be designed by experienced designers. आप मैन्युफैक्चर करोगे, आपको R&D पता है,
बराबर
और उसके बाद हम उसको करेक्टली अप्लाई करेंगे. इनके inputs भी आने चाहिए because they know what people want.
Yeah.
Much better than any of us, right?
Barabar.
Because they are dealing with more number of people and their dreams. So, Rahul, sorry. So tell me 2 products that you think are missing in the market. It could be hardware, mechanical hardware, or aesthetic hardware. Any detail that you have done over a period of time which you think is missing and you would, it's like a dream product. Anything that you can think of.
Well, it's actually too sudden to ask and too sudden to remember. Yeah, but I think a lot of innovation is already happening in terms of sun protection screens. And that is one thing I think a huge amount of work is still pending. A lot of it is getting customized. A lot of it is also standardized. But the automation part, that is the kinetic architecture, is what we are looking at. That is missing here. And India is the next stop for that because it's already happening in Middle East and all those places a lot. But India is a place which is wherein the optimized use can happen, wherein this automation or kinetic engineering can come into mainstream architecture and it can grow leaps and bounds. I think that one area is something that India needs very fast. It's a very higher scale hardware thing that we are looking at, not at a very interior scale, but huge amount of work needs to happen in that, and I'm confident that pretty soon we are going to reach that.
I agree with you that this question is tough because you can't think of it on top. But I think looking at what we were seeing today in terms of some of the architecture, some of the work, and I completely agree with you, and I'm very glad you mentioned this particular product. You know what he's talking about are screens. In our climate, especially Ahmedabad, tropical climate, India in general, hot summers, extreme climates, we need screens and movable facades, which means that you end up using less glass. And glass is anyways extremely bad for facades. But we do it because we imitate the West. We look at, so hybrid facades make a lot more sense. And that's where I think movable or kinetic louvers or sunscreens would make a lot of sense. ઘણું બધું R&D એમાં થયું છે. આજે આપણે થોડુંક આર્કિટેક્ચર જોયું, થોડા પ્રેઝન્ટેશન જોયા. એ ઓલરેડી એમને ડેમોન્સ્ટ્રેટ કર્યું છે. એમને પણ ઘણું કામ એમાં કર્યું છે. I think this is something that we can really tie up and do that. Now let me ask 2 questions to, as manufacturing. He's already in that cycle. Though you've been in the industry, but you are actually quite new in this particular side of the business. Tell me, what are your major problems of manufacturing?
Major problem. So one of the major problems is availability of skilled labor for things which, for our particular industry where we're trying to customize, skill is important because it's not completely or like highly mechanized or automated. So availability of skilled labor is one. Then what else is there? I think skill would be a major thing. Availability and accessibility.
Is capital not a problem?
Oh, of course, that's always a problem.
Skilled labor का problem है, capital तो है अपने पास. Because, पीछे से नहीं. Maybe, do you have access to capital?
No, I don't. So,
Okay.
so we've kind of been like bootstrapped, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? What are the issues? I mean, the biggest problems in manufacturing?
I am the new player. In fact, I am going to start manufacturing very soon. So as of now, I am not seeing any challenges, but I feel the most important is standardization.
Okay.
So standardization is not happening here. And if you want to really scale your business or scale any product, then standardization is very important. And the another thing is, there are 2 industries where people always want new product or new varieties. One is just textile. So textile and furnishing and furniture. So people always want to experiment. the same person is using the same cloth today, he will not use tomorrow. So if you visit 500 houses in the same project, you will not see any single house which would be similar. So that is the major challenge in this industry, the standardization.
Brilliant. And I'm sure you would also. Yeah, please add.
I'll just have another go at it. So there's a combination of things which are missing for at least a new entrant in this industry. I consider myself an outsider to both design and manufacturing. So there is the availability of skilled labor. So there's this combination between manufacturing, designing, and selling, which is kind of the golden triangle that we need. And so basically integrating these three things is the biggest challenge. And so we can tackle one at a time, but like having the combination of three has been one of the biggest challenges.
Brilliant. I'm very glad that these 3 points came out. I'll just kind of divert it. Tamne pucha pehla, I'll just divert this question. Ek minute. To Rahul, one more. You know, he just spoke about something that I would love. I know you said this earlier as well. He said, just like fashion, you know, textile and fashion, they keep changing, and same in furniture. The demand is such. And you have been quite a strong believer of timelessness. So, do you think this is the way the industry will go, or do you think?
No, I think so, absolutely. Change is inevitable. I mean, it's not in our hands. So we were just discussing out there.
I know.
And we were discussing the same thing. Like we are.
I heard it.
So we are people from the timeless thing. But does the consumer need it? No. The consumer needs a change. So when you say that this chair will last for 10 years, they don't want a chair to last for 10 years. They want it only for 2 years. फिर तो बदलने का ही है. So that is where these interiors will come into picture, which can change. So it becomes an affordable interiors. It doesn't become so expensive that a person will think 10 times before you change. So they probably need something which is like a stopgap situation, which can be altered. You know, I'll associate it with the weddings, the typical Indian fat wedding. What does it do? You spend so much and you tell the world so much about your wedding that before a divorce you think 10 times. So
did you get that? Did you hear that? शादी पे इतना पैसा खर्चा करो कि डिवोर्स करते पहले सोचो 3 बार कि पैसा इतना खर्चा किया अब डिवोर्स नहीं हो सकता.
So against that, if you look at a Christian wedding where you go into the church, kiss and you are done, your divorce is very easy, right? You have told only 100 people. Here you have 2,000 people whom you have invited, so you have told the world. It's very difficult to take a divorce. So in the same way, it's very difficult to change an interior or to change a space. So in today's world, I think it is a very stopgap situation. In terms of something from the earlier topic that you asked, today's manufacturer in India has a challenge because we are asking for a Villeroy and Bosch product at an IKEA price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
IKEA, the whole concept of IKEA is to sell brilliant designs at more volume so that the rate can be subsidized. And Villeroy and Bosch will sell the same product at a huge price because then only few people can have it. So here what is happening, we are speaking of bespoke kind of art, which he will manufacture, only 10 pieces, but we are not going to pay him Villeroy and Bosch. We are going to pay him the cost of an IKEA.
Excellent.
And that is where the dynamics of the trade is changing, but it will evolve over a period of time. He may have to wait for that day to come. Till then, the struggle will remain on. And what he is saying about standardization, that is the future. Because that is where your wastages can be utilized in the best manner, and least amount of wastages will mean that you can lesser the price on a volume base.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for the conclusive statement. That was my statement. He concluded the entire thing. No, but he's absolutely right. Absolutely right. We'll come to some questions as well, okay? So that was absolutely right. And this is the other problem with positioning. And that's where we all as brands suffer. We struggle there because we don't know. We want the mass market. We want the volume. We want higher margins, but we don't know where we are positioned. What he's talking about, standardization, is going to be not a luxury. It's going to be a basic necessity for any manufacturer. Absolutely. And that's where IKEA has been. So my question, in fact, was that, do we need more IKEAs? All of you? Are you all awake? All awake? Do we need more IKEAs? Or no? Yes or no? और IKEA होना चाहिए कि नहीं होना चाहिए? होना चाहिए. क्या, right? IKEA is good? IKEA is good. He said that, right? They're good, well-designed products, but at a lower price because of high volumes. Sorry, you were saying something. Yeah.
I just want to add to this. I think the whole topic of timelessness and the change, I feel it's time that we come up with things that can change, but prima facie are the same. Like things that can be remodeled. Like for example, Charles and Ames homes. Like modular things which gives you a new look, which gives you, even with the compact spaces, that can be a solution where you have things that you can change, maybe the tapestry and things like that in a more superficial way, but within the space also more modular and changeable environments where the base is the same, but the outlook changes.
But Chandni, I'll tell you, a lot of times these discussions have happened, and it's more theory than practical. Nobody wants it. In India, people don't want to even DIY. IKEA ka box aayega, they don't want to assemble. They'll call a carpenter from Urban Ladder, whatever, from Urban Clap to assemble your IKEA furniture, right?
No, but DIY is a problem and it's not resolved. But when the manufacturers come on board and they can make better details, and right now what as
No, you're right. I'm not saying in terms of detailing. I'm talking about in terms of people don't even want to have that flexibility within their own home or office. Even if you have a sliding table, they don't want to slide it.
No, but then they want to throw it and buy new. That's what they want. The change they want.
Correct.
So there is a change that they want, and there is a gap, like things that they're stuck with. So in between, I think earlier we have also discussed, when we as interior designers design a modular furniture, it's not well detailed. It's just easy said than done.
Yeah.
That's where manufacturing and hardwares and everything can play a very important role.
Where there is more flexibility in mechanical hardware.
And it's more workable. Like
Correct.
how much ever we do with a carpenter, those things are not well resolved yet.
So he is very smart. Working hardware કઈ નથી બનાવતા. Right? Hinge અને એના સિવાય. ખાલી એસ્થેટિક હાર્ડવેર બનાવો છો ને. એમાં ટેન્શન નથી બસ. આ કરો મોલ્ડ બનાવો, નહીં પાછું નહીં સારું લાગ્યું ફેંકી દો. કરેક્ટ? બટ તમને શું લાગે છે કે આવું ફ્લેક્સિબિલિટી, મોડ્યુલારિટી સ્પેસમાં જરૂરી છે કે એ એડ્રેસ થઈ શકે એઝ અ હાર્ડવેર મેન્યુફેક્ચર? તમે નહીં, તમે રેપ્રેઝેન્ટ કરો છો બીજાને. તો એવું થઈ શકે કે ભાઈ એક આ રૂમ ઓછો ને વધારે થઈ જાય, આ બેડ સોફા થઈ જાય, રાઈટ?
એ ફ્લેક્સિબલ હાર્ડવેરમાં અત્યારે ઘણા બધા વર્લ્ડના ઘણી બધી બ્રાન્ડો છે, ઘણી બધી જગ્યાએ થઈ રહ્યું છે, ઇન્ડિયામાં આવી રહ્યું છે. આપણા ઘણા બધા મેન્યુફેક્ચરો એની ઉપર કામ કરી રહ્યા છે. પણ જેટલી બી ડિમાન્ડ વધારે થતી જશે, સપોઝ કે બધા લોકો ડિમાન્ડ કરે તો ઓલવેઝ કંપનીઓને એ કરવું જ પડે.
શ્યોર અગ્રી.
અને મોસ્ટલી એ તો અત્યારે જોવા જાવ તો સાઇઝીસના હિસાબથી જો તો કોમ્પેક્ટ ફર્નિચર, કોમ્પેક્ટ સાઇઝીસ, તો હાર્ડવેરને બી એ સેગમેન્ટમાં કામ કરવું જ પડે. એમાં કોઈ બીજી વાત જ નથી.
So Taral, you also think so that flexibility in a space is flexibility in the space, meaning spaces becoming small or large, or एक furniture piece और कुछ बन जाता है, like a chair becomes something else or a sofa becomes a bed, like you have extra storage. You think that is the future?
Yeah, that is the future in fact, because as I said, Mumbai, then you don't, right?
Yeah.
A lot of places people use dining table, study table, and that working desk at the same product. So it is very important, the flexible, yes.
Flexible, right?
And I feel India, whatever you manufacture in India, it is going to sell. Because there is a lot of diversity in India. Everybody have different taste, everybody has different requirement. Everybody, whatever you make, at least, maybe, I don't know about the pricing, but it is going to sell. The blue suit and the red suit both can sell in India. So even pink blazer can also sell.
No, but you are absolutely right. You said it in a jest, but this is the fact, and this is what we want to end this with. What we want to understand is how much of this demand are we going to be able to supply in terms of manufacturing? Right? You are on the demand side, you're on the demand side. Here we are trying to bridge the gap by saying that, you know, you understand the consumer, come on to the manufacturing side, on the supply side, right? We are right in between as designers, right? We are suppliers also and we are demanding also. We are demanding from the industry. But I'll start with you, and considering that you're involved with, you know, the Gift City as well, just quickly tell us about the Gujarat growth story. How, I mean, because you're optimistic about, you know, you say like, kuch bhi bana lo, India mein bik jayega. And that's a fact. Everybody's coming back from abroad. You know, they're moving back to India. They don't want to stay there because there's so much opportunity. So please tell us about Gujarat and the opportunities in Gujarat for industries.
We are at the best place in the world right now.
Please, come on.
And this is our time. And the scale, what we used to do before. We used to make at a time around 1 million square feet in 10 different projects. Now we have 10 projects. Each project is 10 million square feet.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So as I said, if you are in India, anything can sell, but the quality should be good and acceptable. And government is giving lot of lot of interest in Gujarat. As you know, the government is planning for Olympic. Government is planning for the fight. There are a lot of new. So government, in fact, they don't have contractors or manufacturers in India, and they have so huge plans. I'm not talking about only Gujarat. If you are in India, government, every part of India, government have different projects. If you are in UP, if you are in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, now if you see, a lot of tourism is happening in Uttarakhand. So government knows where is the capability and where to position the product at the right state. So Gujarat is an entrepreneurial state. And whatever our PM says, all the entrepreneurs, all the industries make that possible. And whatever pilot project the government want to start, they always start from Gujarat. Because PM has given it's almost 10 years in 15 years, I feel. 15 years in Gujarat, and he knows the capacity and the capability of Gujarati people. So there is no looking back. I personally feel what we did in last 40 years, we have to achieve in next 10 years. So everybody has to scale their business. We should not depend on imported products. At least every person, whatever is doing, they should level up. If there is an interior designer, I insist them to at least start a small manufacturing unit if they can do it. Right now, we are the developer. So we have a lot of integrations in our core business which complement with each other. We have our infrastructure firm, we have our design unit, we are going up to start a manufacturing unit in Sanand, GIDC. It would be a furniture unit. We did a lot of collaborations with furniture companies who manufacture in India. So I am hardcore believer of the Make in India concept, and I feel we should encourage that Make in India concept.
Girdhar bhai, તમે actually એક same વસ્તુ કીધી હતી હમણાં આપણે વાત કરતા હતા. You know, I was asking like કે શું છે, કેવું છે બધું, માર્કેટ કેવું છે? જોરદાર. રાઈટ? પ્લીઝ થોડુંક કહેશો, એમને પણ એ જ કીધું. થોડુંક કહેશો કે કેવું છે જોરદાર, કેમ છે જોરદાર?
जो भाई साहब ने कहा है गुजराती
हाँ हिंदी
भाई
गुजराती
જે કીધું છે એ મુજબ રાઈટ નાઉ ઇન્ડિયાનો ટાઈમ છે. એવરી પાર્ટ ઓફ બધા બિઝનેસ જુઓ તમે, કોઈ પણ બીમાં જુઓ તો હવેના બાકીનો પીરિયડ ઇન્ડિયાનો છે. તો બની શકે આપણે બધા લોકોએ એટલા જ એન્થુઝિયાઝમ બતાવી અને એ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી હવે ગ્રેબ કરવી જોઈએ.
કરવી જોઈએ, sure.
નેક્સ્ટ 5 years 10 years આઈ થિંક એનાથી બી વધારે ટાઈમ અત્યારે ઇન્ડિયા સિવાય છે. ને આજની તારીખે એઝ એ મેન્યુફેક્ચર લોડ્સ ઓફ ઇન્ક્વાયરી છે, ડેલિગેશન આવે છે ફોરેનના અમારે ત્યાં, પણ વી આર નોટ મોર ઇન્ટરેસ્ટેડ. આઈ એમ ટેલિંગ યુ ટ્રુ. સો મેની ક્લાયન્ટ્સ ઇન્ક્વાયરી કરે છે, પણ અમે લોકો અત્યારે ઇન્ડિયામાં જ ફોકસ કરીએ આપણે બધા બી, કારણ કે ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી છે ને રાઇટ નાઉ વી આર સ્ટેન્ડ.
Super. You believe that there's a lot of opportunity right now?
Absolutely. I think, and I think that COVID made a big difference. COVID was a boon for India, I would say, because suddenly, I remember pre-COVID, when we all designers used to meet, it was about how many times people have gone to Italy to buy furniture. I'm talking about interiors. Some used to say that this is my 9th trip to China in this year, 5 trips to Italy in this year. What are we looking at? We were only disregarding our own ability to produce. COVID was the best period because everything got shut, and suddenly this breed of designers came up who said we will design, and architects and designers in India didn't have a choice, and they realized the potential, because this potential could not have been tapped anyways. We were all looking at West all the time. COVID was a introspection point, be it us as designers or be it them as manufacturers or furniture developers or hardware industry as well. I mean, Europe cracked in COVID. All this hardware which we were using was not available. That is when we started realizing that hardware in India made was excellent, far apart. Even today I would say that what EPCO did, EPCO as a brand, they do phenomenally great than Hafele or for that matter any other brand. But just because it is Indian, just because we are able to get it at a very affordable rate, the premium client doesn't have a confidence to use it. The designers are the specifiers. If you show in confidence to the Indian manufacturers, then your clients will follow you. And I think this is a time wherein India is doing great, thanks again to COVID, I would say, because now we have started to realize that we also have the potential to manufacture, do R&D. India never did R&D. We were only imitators. Now is the point wherein we have started developing, started researching, because now we have become manufacturers who are supposed to come up with intellectual ideas. That's my take.
Pranav, how optimistic are you of the next 5 years of your business?
I think very optimistic.
Hey, I know.
So,
This
I
is-
mean,
this is a long answer question, not the short answer question. 2 marks, nahi, 20 marks ka hai.
so short answer is very optimistic. The long answer is that we've been in the last 4 years have been more of like understanding our own capabilities and also understanding what the demand is, which we sort of missed in the beginning. So I didn't take the time to experience how the industry was. I didn't work under any company. I started it by myself. I started by making furniture myself. So now is like the 4 years have been like kind of like the realizations of what was right, what was wrong, and what we did well. And now I think is the time where, because of COVID again, like he said, that a lot of people, a lot of interior designers, a lot of architects are looking at the option of manufacturing here. And we have seen that happen over the last 1 year at least. So yeah, I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah. So 5 years, what do you think your turnover should be?
5 years, I think at least 5 crores.
5 crores. Madam, how many crores? Is 5 too little? So for a manufacturing studio like this, how many pieces do you manufacture right now? Per month?
Per month, 20 to 30.
20 to 30. Do you think 5 crores is a good number? It should be 10.
Absolutely, it should be more than that. In fact, if you just need to visit China once, you know how they deal. If you order 1,000 piece, they give 10%. If you order 2,000 piece, they give 20%. If you give 5,000 piece, they give 40% discount. So at least we should secure our profitability and make more turnover.
Optimism, madam. How optimistic are you of the market?
Very optimistic. I think
Thank
there is
you.
a
Long answer.
right intention, right space to be in, and then we are a country of 1.5 billion. So a lot of people who put, if they put their energy in the right kind of things, I think sky is the limit. So for our industry, like the PM just announced that all the weddings should be in India, and I'm in the wedding industry, for example. That one statement made all the difference.
Yeah.
Similarly, with COVID, a lot of manufacturing is coming in. So very optimist, but as a person, I'm also very critical. So
Yes.
if the energy is put in the right kind of intention, then definitely sky is the limit.
So fantastic. We will kind of conclude this with one single statement that we have an India growth story. The optimism is extremely high for design and manufacturing and across the value chain, From R&D, which was almost dead or latent in India, today manufacturers and brands are spending on both on R&D as well as on the other side, that is branding, because that's a problem. We were talking about perception. And it's necessary that brands spend on branding as well as R&D in order to get the kind of money, demand that kind of profit that most of the other competing European brands have done. We need to learn from them. Other is what we learn from America, especially USA and partly Japan, is systems, optimization and standardization. Standardization in terms of the manufacturing, not in terms of only usage. Third or fourth is in terms of spaces. Spaces will shrink, urban centers will be growing, we will need flexibility in our spaces. Fourth is manufacturers like them. Any part of the cycle, if they have to grow, if they have their numbers in place, the money is available, right? And I'm telling you, the money is available. There are people who want to partner these businesses and this growth. So all of you and your students, Nihal's students, they're all having water, coffee, tea, coffee. Okay, you're going to ask 2 questions this time. So just prepare your questions quickly, okay? Ask 2 questions. So all of you, India is the story. If you're in Gujarat, Balle Balle. No, Balle Balle is Punjab. So what is for Gujarat? I'm Halo, right? Thank God you didn't say Gotilo. But Gotilo, no. We have it here. You have to Gotilo inside. Okay? So find it out. 3 cheers for all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Check. Thank you so much everyone for sharing so much of knowledge. I had my 2 cents. I've made some notes as well. But before I just summarize and share the gist, I would request Hasmukh Patel to please come here and present a token of gratitude to all our panelists as well as our moderator over here. I would request you to join us over here. Can we please have the token of gratitude over here? And like Niraj mentioned, for the first time in HBLF, we wish to sign MOUs over here as well to begin with. And various issues on manufacturing were shared, standardization being one of them. A huge round of applause for Mr. Dalvi. And I think one of the biggest takeaway for not just me but everybody else would be think before how much you're spending on your marriage so that you don't have to think how much you're going to spend on your divorce. And we have, before we wrap up the day 2, we have one more panel discussion with some esteemed panelists joining us. So all those who are present over here, please be with us over here. Few more knowledge sharing sessions are here. Thank you, Mr. Taral, for joining us and sharing your knowledge. Wishing you all the best. Thank you, Pranav, for joining us today over here at HBLF 2024. We also thank Mr. Girdhar for taking out time and being present over here with us today. And the lovely lady in the shades of pink and yellow, Chandni, thank you once again for joining us and sharing your knowledge with us. Ladies and gentlemen, one big round of applause for all the panelists. Thank you everyone once again. And let's not forget our rock star, the moderator, Mr. Niraj Shah. And let's have one picture together.